The views and opinions of the guest do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of BODS Mayhem Radio Network, its staff, affiliates, or sponsors. Parental discretion is advised. Welcome to BODS Mayhem Radio Network.
This is Mike Valente from Brick by Brick, and you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I am your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bod Father. As always, I'm bringing you guys and gals awesome interviews. Today, it's an honor and privilege to have Mr. Mike Valente, guitarist of Brick by Brick. Brick by Brick will release their 7th studio album, Hive Mentality, February 22nd via Upstate Records. And we're going to be talking to him about that. So, Mike, how's it going, man?
What's going on, man? Thank you very much for having me.
Not a problem. Glad to have you on here and talk about the new 7th album from Brick by Brick. So
yeah, we've been at it for a minute.
How's it been working with Adrenaline PR so far?
Oh, I love them. They're great. It's just this is the first time that we've actually utilized them. We were going to do it for not the last album, but the album before. But budget was real, slim, and it was pretty much a grassroots effort. And then the label that we had last time told us not to worry about anything, that they were going to take care of everything, and they basically didn't do anything. So that last album we released is pretty much invisible. So we had to make up for it, and Maria and team is pretty much the best at what she does. So we had to go with it.
Brick by Brick has guest vocalist Tony Foresta, Municipal
Yep.
Waste, Reagan on the track Bar Is Open. And that inspired a few of the more thrash edge songs for you guys. Plus Vincent, Bennett of, and I hope I pronounce this right. I know I probably won't, but the Acacia, is that right? Or Acacia strain, is that right?
Acacia strain.
Acacia strain. See, I told you, man. Acacia strain. I thought you wouldn't get it right. Agreed to redo an O-tune, In the Ruins.
Yep.
And Jessica Pimentel.
Yep.
From
she sings for a band called Aлекhine's Gun.
Yep.
They're based out of Brooklyn, and then she's also on that TV series Orange is the New Black.
Yep.
And I've been friends with her for quite a while, so we just wanted an angry female presence.
yeah, because she did the middle rant on Hive Mentality for you guys.
Yeah. Yep.
How was working with these folks on these tracks, and how did it all come about, Mike?
Well, just to give you a little bit of background, I mean, I'm from a thrash background, metal background. So is Ray. So I mean, we all are. We're metal in the forefront with a hardcore attitude, and that's where the slower parts come from, and the groovier parts are the hardcore aspect. But we all have a metal background, and we've been trying to not become more metal, but as we're growing and maturing with this lineup, it just seems like the natural way. And we never censor how we write per se. We don't write for a trend or what's catchy. We write for ourselves, and whatever's in my CD player, that's what inspires me to write. So probably for the past year, bands like Power Trip coming back with the thrash, Municipal Waste, Reagan, Exodus is still in the forefront, and of course the Mighty Slayer. So those are like the constant CDs that were in my CD player this past year. So my influence to write that like that was the thrash and the aggressive and the fastness. So when we did Bar Is Open, the first thing I thought of was Tony, because I don't know if you ever seen any of Municipal Waste videos or Iron Reagan's videos.
Oh yeah,
but they're so much fun to watch, and the party vibe, the positive vibe that they send off is what we wanted to emulate in this song. And, you know, we had a stretch in California that we did 2 years ago where I think we did 12, 13 dates out there and up and down the West Coast. And it was so much fun. And our hashtag for everything was Bars Open, because we just showed up. We brought the party with us, whether it was 2 people in the crowd or 200 or 2,000, whatever. You know, it was just, we just went there and we had a blast. And the Bars Open is like a montage to, you know, or an homage, I should say, to that tour. It was so much fun, and the song perfectly emulates what we're getting at for that song. So Tony was definitely, I'm like, geez, I said, it'd be great if we can get him on there. And I called him and he said, yeah, absolutely. No problem. You know, and I've known Tony for a while, and, you know, just from playing shows and doing whatever. So it was such an honor just to have him on there. And then, Vincent from the Acacia strain, probably about 5 years ago, we released that song on a split 7-inch, and there was only like, I don't remember if it was 250 or 500, but it was a very limited edition. So, and it wasn't very public. So the underground hardcore metalcore kids got it, and, you know, it was great, but it was never out there. So we revamped it a little bit, and Vincent agreed to come back in. And again, you know, Vincent's a great guy, and we have a great relationship with him and the Acacia strain. So he came in and agreed to do that song. And then Hive Mentality was I thought of Jessica because I've known her for a while, and when we talked, there was a not an argument, but a very powerful conversation that we had years and years ago, where she kind of ranted at me. I was like, you know what? I want you to take that conversation and put it in a damn song. You know, so I thought of her for that, and I said, this is what you got to say. And then just say it like you're you. You know, she just did it and ripped it off, and it was great, you know. So this album came together so organically and easy. It was probably the easiest process that we've encountered as a band. And everything just clicked and fell into place where it was supposed to. It was crazy.
I thought this was cool too. You guys did covers of Slave to the Grind, of course, by Skid Row, and Iron Fist by Motorhead.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this a little bit. How did you decide on these two for covers?
Slave to the Grind. That's a heavy song.
Yes, it is.
You know, our band's a little bit older. We're not a young hype band, so we grew up. I mean, I remember seeing Skid Row and Pantera together, and just, yeah, I know Skid Row's got more of a glam aspect to them or whatever, but they're that raunchy rock and roll. And when you think about it, it's all rock and roll. It's all the same stuff. And that song me and the drummer just jammed like a little bit of it one time. I'm like, oh, we can make this song heavy. And we're just like, yeah. And then when Ray went into the studio to do it, I said, listen, you got to do that beginning part just like he did. We got to keep it, and then when it kicks in, then we can get heavier, you know? So, I don't know. It was just natural. Everybody's like, yeah, that's a badass song. Everybody said, what do you think if we did this song? They're like, hell yeah. There's not one no in the bunch. So we're like, yeah, what the hell, we'll do this song. And then Iron Fist was we did that for a compilation called Damage Cases, which is also on Upstate Records. And that's got Sheer Terror, Street Dogs, Unruly Boys, bunch of good bands on there. Count Time's on there. So the compilation's bands from all over the country doing a tribute to Motorhead, and we chose Iron Fist because that's a fun song to play, and it's fast and aggressive. So I think I figured that fit us the best out of all the Motorhead songs.
And you know what? Not knocking any bands out there right now, but if you take Slave to the Grind, throw it out there, and let the track go with these other ones with these new bands and new music that's out there right now, Slave to the Grind would still be the heaviest of those right now.
I love that song. It's got such a groove to it, you know.
It does, and thankfully I was able to see Sebastian Bach play that live. That was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy how those songs still have meaning to us guys like that. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And, you know, and that cover kind of fit the the theme of where the album was going too. So it just fit. So it was, like I said, everything was organic and just fell into place.
This is Brick by Brick, 7th studio album into your music career. Has it been more difficult to survive as a band / metal band versus back in the day?
I got a different outlook on it. I mean, the word survive isn't, like I said, we do this for fun. We're having a great time. And when it's not fun anymore, then we're not going to do it. And I think bands that are at our level or our age group, I mean, if you're not doing it for the right purpose, so it's not going to be worth it. I mean, we're not out there, playing 300 dates a year. We do as much as we can, but, we're all adults. We got jobs and, families and whatever. So, I mean, saying that to survive, I don't think is the right word. I mean, we survive just fine. I think it seems to be getting easier for us to hit the niche market that we're trying to get to. Back when we first started, we were younger, and the lineup that we had, a lot of them dudes couldn't do any of the touring. So it was more frustrating then because, people were just trying to get their lives off the ground, and it held us back for literally probably about 6-7 years. And once we got Ray in the band, things just started taking off, and it was easier. And we just went with the waves that whatever we were offered, we hopped on. And Ray being in the band just helped a lot because the last singer he couldn't do anything. He had a swing shift work schedule, so he could only play one weekend a month. And then that weekend, he could only play one day because his wife wouldn't let him. See you later. It's like, that's when it stopped being fun.
Yeah.
We're like, you know what? I'm not doing this no more. Either we got to get somebody else or it's over.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, oh, let's just get, Ray was like, I'll fill in. And his filling in turned into be permanent. And Ray and I clicked probably all too well.
So what has adding Ray to this band, man? Did he give you that extra oomph that it needed?
Yeah, I mean, the oomph, it wasn't necessarily what he's contributing to us musically as it was to his mental state and attitude. And like I said, I mean, we don't claim to be the most talented band in the world. I mean, I don't know. We're average at best, in my opinion. I don't care. I mean, if people love us, that's awesome. I mean, but just being in a van for a week with this band is hilarious. We don't fight. We don't bicker. It's like, we all get in that van knowing that, all right, we're not working. We're not with our families. We're out with our bros, having some drinks, going to shows, selling some merch, just mingling and hanging out with people. And the social aspect, Ray definitely brings the social aspect to the band as opposed to the last singer. And it just made things, it's such a relief to have a band that is fun.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not all business all the time. It's fun. Let's just have fun with it, So, Ray just contributed to my mental state, just helped me by not being a dick. So, my last singer was a dick, and it was a project. I had to worry about what I said, and am I going to offend him? Is he going to quit? No, I don't have to worry about that shit no more. It's great.
That's always a plus. Is it hard to choose between the current set of songs on this album, which one would be the first single or video? Also, what did you want that song to say for Brick by Brick when people or folks hear it who have not heard of you guys before?
Us and the label decided the first video would be Hive Mentality. And Hive Mentality is us yelling at the kids that got their nose in the social media.
Yeah.
It's like, yo, get the fuck out of there. Go out. Go to a show. Never mind what's on the internet. Go interact with people. It's like, I don't know. Like I said, I'm older and I'm dating myself, but the social media is just, it's a tool. It should be used as a tool to bridge the gap so you can get to that next level. But people aren't using it as that. They're using it as the be-all, end-all thing. And in my belief, you got the social media, which makes you like, it numbs your mind and who owns social media? Corporations. Who owns the corporations? Politicians. Who owns the politicians? More corporations. So it's like, it's just fodder. It's just, I think it's just one way to dumb down America. And I just, nobody just goes out. Tinder, you got Tinder. It's like, you don't go out on dates anymore. You swipe right, and whatever. It's like, no, you're missing the fun part. It's the thrill of the chase, you know?
Yeah.
So I mean, that's basically what Hive Mentality came about, and you know, that's why we chose that song for the first single.
Yeah, dude, you hit the nail on the head. Oh, I've been preaching this forever. I've got 18 million likes. I don't give a fuck.
Yep.
It's like, you know, I've been doing this for 8 years, and I love it. I don't have that many likes, and I don't care to say it. I'm not a fake. I don't pretend to be, oh, I've got so many likes. I'm blah, blah, blah. I'm nothing. I just want to be a small voice to help people with their independent bands, you guys, I mean, anybody and everybody. I just want to be that small voice to put somebody out there just so a person can listen to hopefully like that band that I have on my show. That's what I want to do.
Yeah. Exactly. And I do shows in my area. I promote shows. So, like, I get tons of emails from bands like, can you put us on the show? And I pretty much say yes to just about everybody. I mean, I listen to them, and if I like them, I'm going to put you on a show. I don't care if you got 30 likes on your Facebook or 30,000. It doesn't matter to me. I don't care. Nobody knows you're here. I'm going to put you on a good bill and expose you to the kids in our scene that are aware of what our message is and how we do things, and you know, it's treated like a family, you know. So I think people are missing that, being in the social media pocket, you know.
Yeah,
they're not getting it.
I can't agree with you even more, my brother. We're right there on the same page.
Yep.
So I've said that since day one. I don't care how many likes I get, just as long as I reach that one person. You know, that's it.
I know. As the older I get, I feel like I'm that old guy. Get off my lawn.
I see it every day with me working as a technician. I'm a internet tech, you know, so I'm a CSR.
Yep.
So I see the world, how social media and everything's fucked up everything now. It's like people have their noses in their phones so much that kids that want to associate with their parents that want to associate with their kids. That's what's fucked everything up right there. That's why everything is so messed up.
Yeah, I agree.
So I
agree. I mean, and I'm guilty of it too. I have Facebook, I got Instagram and everything, but you know what? If you look me up on Facebook, you're going to see flyers for my shows.
Yeah.
I just use it to promote my band.
Right.
And once in a while I'll say a shitty rant and offend 900 people, and they'll defriend me and whatever. It's just
but there's
just a vicious circle.
but there's a right way and a wrong way to use social media, so we get it. For sure.
Yeah.
Any songs off the album standing out more to you than any on it as of right now, if possible, Mike? I mean, I know it must change every time you listen to it, but do you have any favorites possibly that stick out for you?
My favorite is Bars Open.
Yeah.
I love the vibe of that. Andy wrote the intro to it, and it's got like a Cro-Mag kind of feel. It's got, you know, it's different for us, and then it comes into this powerful thrash song, and it's totally not like anything we've really written before. I mean, we've had parts in songs like this, but to dedicate a whole song to a thrash genre, it just stands out to me, and I love it, and I can't wait to play it live. We haven't even played it live yet, so you know, February 22nd is our first show, and that's the same day as the release. So we're gonna bust out a bunch of new stuff in upstate New York. But that's the song that stands out. It's just powerful. It makes me want to move, you know.
How was working with producer Jason Bordeaux?
Jason Bordeaux is phenomenal. I've known him for like 30 years, to give you an idea how old we are. No, but he plays guitar in the band Stigmata, and he's a quiet dude. And I think the time that I've known him, we've maybe just said, hey, what's up? That's it, over the past 25, 30 years. And then finally, he got tapped as producer, and I'm like, okay, this is going to be interesting. The guy doesn't talk at all, but you know what? He does, and he's got a lot of good ideas. And I told him, I said, you got free reign. Just tell us if you don't like something, because I want a outside perspective. Because when you're playing these songs and rehearse them, you're biased. You hear things, but you might not hear that one note doesn't really fit. And he, as an outside person hearing it for the first time, he's like, all right, why don't you take that chord and move it over here and try this? And I'm like, okay, you know what? We didn't argue. We just did it. And if it didn't work, we would go back to what we were doing, but we tried. And he was very influential on a lot of the stuff that we did, and he's got an ear for the sounds too. And he got great guitar tone. The drums sound great. It's just, he's so underrated. So we had a great time working with him.
Does he push you guys hard, or does he just let you do your own thing and then quietly step in?
Well, he let us do our own thing, and then he would just suggest, he goes, try it again. Okay. Try it like this. Okay. But what he would do is he wouldn't erase the last one, and then we would compare which one. He goes, what do you think of this one? No, let's try this one. I like this one better. And we would just hone it in. I mean, it took a little bit more time, but it was worth it, because we went in to the studio with a very skeletal kind of structure. So the way Jameson plays drums, he's a very loose drummer, very he might not play the same exact thing twice, but once it's on recording, then we got him. So we just wrote basic chords, structures around what he was playing. And then Andy and I went back in the studio and said, okay, this is what he's playing. Let's match it up. And then so we would rewrite the piece a little bit so it would fit the drums better, and then it would flow a little bit better. So it was the first time we did it like this, and it was very interesting how we did it. But he definitely had input, and he would give us suggestions.
I always like to give a shout out to the artists who did the artwork on albums. And
Jamie Juron he did a great job. He plays guitar in a band called Assault on the Living.
Yeah.
And they're like a death metal core kind of thing too, and he's great. He's just phenomenal.
Yeah, I always like to give a shout out to the artists, because I think they get overlooked on the albums. And honestly, man, I'm guilty of it, and sometimes guilty has been the best pleasures, because if you go to the record stores, well, when you can find records now and CDs in stores, and you find an album that has a cool artwork and it's a metal band and it's in the metal section, it grabs my attention. I'm sure it does you too. And I'm guilty. I buy it and I don't even know who they are, and find out, man, this band is fucking amazing over the artwork.
I've done it. That's how I discovered Iron Maiden when I was a kid. I'm like, oh, this is badass. I'm going to buy this.
Yeah. So there you go. So I like to pay homage to the artists who do your guys' artwork, because you got to collaborate with that artist to figure out exactly what you're looking for that album cover.
Yeah. Yep. Totally did. And we went back and forth, and I told him what we were looking for, and he got it, nailed it.
Mike, what do you hope everyone takes away from the album, or message you hope they hear while listening to it, or just any brick by bricks music in general?
Well, I mean, a lot of our stuff has a violent overtone, but I mean, there's definitely some good messages in there. And it's like, basically, just don't be a dick. just get out there and just live life. And, I don't know. Sometimes I deal with people that it's just amazing, the attitudes and the self entitlement. It's just I can't deal with it. I don't like it, and that's what we usually attack. It's like, I know a lot of bands could be political and all that, but it's not necessarily the politics. It's just the underlying self entitlement around the politics, and it's just, I don't know, the way I'm all for the underdogs. I refuse to buy from big corporations. I would rather buy from a mom and pop shop. So it's, I don't know. I just, values and morals is basically the underlying message. I think I don't know. I don't understand people in this day and age. I think that, like you said, the social media has a lot to do with it.
The moral of Brick by Brick's albums, folks, don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick. That's it. You be a dick, we'll write a song about you.
That should be like an everyday common sense thing. Be nice to people. You know?
Yeah, it's amazing how many people don't have common sense.
That's true. I agree with you there, but you're preaching to the choir. I see it every day. I know. How much growth musically have you seen this band and plus yourself go through up to the release of this album? Or has it just been more of a personal growth, or each of you guys involved in this?
Personally, I think I was a better guitarist 15 years ago. I think I dumbed down a little bit. The way I write is pretty simple and, whatever. But as far as the band goes, I think the band has grown. And like I said, it's not so much musically, it's just the camaraderie of the band is just, it's at an all-time high, and it's just so much fun. Can't wait to see, we can't wait to get together and see what's going on at the show. It's fun. And like I said, it's not even so much the shows. It's not so much the destination. It's the journey for us. The van rides are hilarious. My drummer he should be a stand-up comedian. There's been times where he's made me laugh so hard we've almost died. We almost crashed the van because I can't see. I got tears in my eyes. So we have definitely grown. It wasn't like that 10 years ago in this band. It was more of a serious overtone, and it wasn't as fun.
When you come into the recording studio, do you do anything differently, Mike, during that writing and recording process to maybe help keep your mind open and fresh, to not get bored and not let the music get stale? Do you do anything differently, possibly?
Not so much differently, but, like I said, I let the producer give me suggestions. And Andy is a very technical bass player, so he's got a lot of good ideas too. So I try to be open-minded, and as long as the overall structure of the song doesn't change, as long as we keep it within what the guidelines are, I guess it's fun. So sometimes things change, sometimes they don't. We're not committed to a formula when we write. So I don't really do anything different. Maybe overdubbing some guitars or something, but that's about it.
What can fans expect at a show from Brick by Brick who have not got to see you guys live as of yet, man?
You'd like it. We have fun.
We're living in a digital era of recording albums to get music out quicker, and plus now we have social media to reach out to more folks who have not got to hear of Brick by Brick as of yet. Do you like this that we're living in right now? We talked about social media earlier, but as far as like helping bands to get out there quicker, do you like this?
I do, in a way that, it's easily accessible. You don't have to find it in a record store or, via tape trading or whatever back in the day. But, now if the right person likes it or shares it, it exposes you to a whole vast array of different people that, have a chance to see or hear your stuff. It's just, I like the way it is. Social media is definitely a positive for it. But then again, you always get the people that talk shit on you too. So you got to take the good with the bad. But now the way things are laid out now, it's easy for bands to become popular. And I've seen a couple bands be very successful just from a video on YouTube or something shared on Facebook. It's crazy. It's really crazy how it can take a spike,
And especially YouTube helping bands replace members with an amazing musician out there. That's even helped out a lot too.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
In your own opinion, man, what does Brick by Brick bring to the table for music that's not out there as of right now?
Wow, that's a tough one. I don't think there's anything that hasn't been done before, and I think that's a tough question for any band, really. But I know that we bring a good time, we have fun, we're social, We like that. If we don't, when we have a dressing room or something, we're never in it. Or I'd rather be out drinking with the crowd, hanging out with them. But I mean, as far as bringing anything to the table, I mean, we bring a lot of energy. That's for sure. But I mean, I really can't say that we bring something different to the table than any other band. You know, there's always somebody better. There's always somebody bigger. We just embrace where we are and just live for the day.
What made you want to become a musician? What was that spark for you that said, yeah, that's what I want to do right there?
Chicks. I think everybody, when they're young and they pick up a guitar or sing or whatever, it's like, it's all for the girls. But, you know, as you get older, it's like, yeah, it's a different message now. It's I don't know. It really helps my sanity. I think if I wasn't in a band, I'd be in a lot of trouble somewhere.
So was you like the Greg Brady of New York there, having the guitar and the little amplifier on your back, walking around with, hey, girl, check us out?
Yeah, just, you know, when I was a kid, you know, you definitely want to play guitar to impress the girls. And, you know, it just makes you practice and do all that stuff, and then you realize, like, all right, you know what? There's different messages out there. I'm going to go for those now.
I try to
leave it all behind. You progress, you know.
Is there a country that stands out or even shocks you that brick by brick gets support from, or even your music gets played in that country?
Every day there seems to be something new. Somebody's definitely, you know, exposed to it. So, I mean, we're trying to get over to Japan now because we've had a spike in Japan. So we're talking to some promoters over there. Europe does very well. We're going back over in Europe in March. But, yeah, I mean, Australia's starting to catch on. And it's kind of surreal sometimes, but, I mean, I don't know. I'm just waiting to see where next, I guess, you know?
So you guys have a tour coming up. Let's talk about that a little bit. When does it start? Who's going to be on tour with you guys? How, you know, what's going on with this, man?
Well, we're playing the Rebellion tour in Europe. It's 10 days in Europe. We're going out with Madball. Freddie asked us to jump on the tour, and absolutely. It's going to be Madball, Iron Reagan, so we'll have Tony there with us. Death Before Dishonor, Born from Pain, a band called Slope, and there's a couple other bands on there too, and you know, right in the mix. So I'm really excited for this. So we got 10 days. We're doing some German dates. We're doing Poland, I believe, Amsterdam, and you know, so we're going to be a little bit all over the place. So it's going to be a good time. Well, last time we went out there was last year with Slapshot, and it was phenomenal. Europe is they just embrace music a lot more than America does. There's a lot less attitude and a lot less judging, I guess you could say. So, you know, it's fun. It'll be fun.
They sure do, man. I mean, and you know this. You played over there. All you got to do is strike a chord, and they know the words word by word for the song. That's all you have to do is strike the chord and play it, and they sing it for you.
Yeah, it was amazing. I couldn't believe how, you know, just being over there for the first time, it was amazing how many people knew the words to our songs. And
yeah,
it was surreal.
Like you said, they gravitate to music more than what we do over here. I'm not saying that we suck as fans of music. I'm just saying it seems like they appreciate it more, and they show the appreciation more. You know, it's like a relief for them, and that's some of them. That's all they have. That's all that they could do over there is that.
You know, another thing too that I noticed is some of the countries, the government funds the venues.
Yes.
So
yes.
So it's like it's not just the clubs, it's the whole communities behind the music scene, whether it's hardcore, country, hip hop, it doesn't matter. And there's festivals over there that just combine everything. And you could go see Slayer and Public Enemy on the same bill. You know, it's crazy.
It's a big holiday for them over there, and it's not like 2 or 3 days. It's like a whole, you know, like 3 or 4 days of music festival.
Yeah,
there.
It's amazing. It's just, and definitely want to be part of that. You know,
for sure. Folks, get out and pick up Hive Mentality. It's going to be released February 22nd via Upstate Records. Get out and check out Brick by Brick. Please pick this album up and give these guys a chance. Mike, my friend, how can folks stay in touch with you guys, buy some merchandise, tour dates, things like that? How can they do that?
Definitely through upstaterecords.com. Merch Now is our merch company. So merchnow.com. You can hit us up on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We're not hard to find. Just check out the pre-order bundles we got for the album. We got some cool stuff that's included with the album sale. So yeah, it'd be great. Send me an email. Shoot the shit with me. I answer everything.
Before I let you go, good sir, would you care to do a promo for my show?
Absolutely. This is Mike Valente from Brick by Brick, and you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Everybody stick around. We got some great stuff coming up. And you only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour and BODS Mayhem Radio Network. Get out and check out our Facebook page. It has our podcast link plus our YouTube link. Get out and check out Brick by Brick as well. I'm going to guarantee that you guys are going to dig these guys. So, Mike, best of luck to you guys, man.
And thank you again for having us. All right.